Namaste. Good morning. Good to see you guys. Hi, good morning, good morning. So this is going to be a 1 hour yoga and meditation, 60 minutes. Focus is going to be hips, hip opening. All you're going to need is a strap. If you have a yoga strap, grab it. If you don't have a yoga strap, you could truly use anything. You could use a belt, you could use a towel, so whatever will work for just kind of looping the foot and the hamstring stretch. I've had a bunch of requests lately for a flow class without all the up and down for people that can't constantly lift their head up and drop their head down and lift their head up and drop their head down. So that's what we're going to do today. So it's going to be a little different than traditional flow. We will work, but I'm going to minimize any up and down for those people that just can't do that. So it'll be a little different. So let's grab your props. If you need blocks, if you need anything else, grab it. We will need later towards the end of class, possibly for most of us, something to sit comfortably, whether you have a meditation cushion or a bolster or a folded blanket or a handful of folded blankets, and you can get really creative. I think that's what this time is all about. And let's start on our back, you guys. So you're gonna lie flat on the back. Knees will be bent, feet will be flat on the mat, and feet will be wide. So feet will go about the width of your mat. And then let your knees just knock in if it's comfortable. So they kind of drop in towards each other, so they actually rest on each other. And then just take one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, let your elbows drop. And go ahead and close your eyes. And take a deep full breath in through your nose. And open your mouth, let it go. And another breath like that. Deep, full breath in through the nose, taking a little more air than you think you can. And then open your mouth, sigh it out. Deflate. And allow your breath to be natural for a moment. So especially those of us that have a yoga practice and we're very used to manipulating the breath, this is challenging. So just observe your natural breath as it is. Right, without lengthening, without deepening, no J.O.Y breath yet. Just simply observe right now, in this moment, what's happening with your breath. Can you feel where the breath goes in your torso? Possibly with your hands, you may feel your belly rise and fall, or your chest rise and fall. Maybe somewhere in between, maybe neither. It's okay. You're still alive. Hallelujah. It's subtle, right? So what we're doing is we're really using the breath to narrow our attention down to the present moment. And can you notice in this moment if you're breathing in and out of your nose, in and out of your mouth, maybe both, maybe you can't tell, no big deal, right? So we're just observing what is. This is challenging. Try not to change it, try not to manipulate it, try not to judge it. Just notice. Can you feel the breath come in and out of your body in this moment? Can you notice the detail of the breath? Can you feel the breath through the lips? Can you feel the breath through the nostrils? Again, not right, not wrong. However it is perfect, just the way it is. So starting by just paying attention to what is, right before we start to change and manipulate and make things different. Notice the breath as it comes and goes. And then from that place of awareness of now, of this moment, of this truth, we start to shift into J.O.Y breathing. So that would be, we're going to breathe in and out our nose the best we can. So on your next inhale, start to shift your breath to nostril breathing. So you're going to do the best you can to breathe in and out your nose. And pay attention to the length of your breath. So I find it one of the easier ways to do this is to literally count. So you want to, in your head, from the beginning of the inhale to the end, count, come up with a number. From the beginning of the exhale to the end, count and come up with a number. And we're going to do that for a handful of breaths. So you're in your own space, counting the length of your inhales and the length of your exhales. And notice how often the mind wanders away somewhere else. That's what it does. No big deal. We just notice, right? We're paying attention. Yoga is a practice of observation. So we're paying attention and we notice that the mind's gone elsewhere and we bring it back gently and kindly. We guide it back to the next inhale or exhale. And when you've come up with a few cycles of breath and you've got somewhat of a number, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the same, but notice, what is the length of your breath now, today, in this moment? We're going to do the best we can to lengthen it. So whatever you came up with, add a few seconds on to both your inhale and your exhale. Making your breath a little longer than it was when we lied down. And again, notice when the mind wanders and just gently bring it back. So yoga is a practice of focus and concentration. And again, the mind is a tool to keep us present. And then finally with the breath, right? So we're breathing in and out our nose the best we can. We're lengthening our breath the best we can. One more little detail and then we'll add some movement. Let's deepen our breath. So can you feel your belly expand, your chest expand, your side body expand? Can you feel your whole torso filling up so full and complete with every single breath in? And can you allow your exhales to be complete? So possibly when you think you're finished exhaling, exhale for a few more seconds until you're beyond empty. So we're doing the best we can to create a quality to our breathing, long, deep, smooth, even rhythmic breaths in and out the nose. This is called J.O.Y breathing. And the breathing will actually create a sense of calmness to the nervous system. So as we move through the postures, the asanas today, you guys, you're going to move as hard as you can. You're going to work as hard as you can in the postures without compromising this quality of breath. So then the breath also acts as a barometer to how far we move into the shapes. I'll give plenty of modifications, plenty of variations, so you guys can truly choose what's best for you in this moment today. And then when you're ready, extend your arms out to the side, widen your knees. And let's just windshield wiper the legs. So on an inhale, let the knees and hips drop to one side. So now we coordinate our breath and movement. And on an exhale, we come through center. And all the way to the other side. So you're going to go back and forth with the rhythm of your breath. Breathing in, slow, steady, smooth breaths. Let the knees and hips follow. And breathing out, slow, steady, smooth breath. Let the knees and hips follow. So you're going to always kind of find your own rhythm. I keep things simple. Definitely not easy, but simple. So you can really pay attention to the quality of the breath and linking your breath and your movement together. A few more back and forth. Feel how the spine responds to the hips. The whole spine rings out almost like a wet washcloth. Be as gentle as possible in the movements. We will work plenty, I promise. And then when your knees drop to one side, pause. And if you'd like, turn the head in the opposite direction. We're just going to take a few breaths in this subtle, gentle twist. If you want more sensation, feel free to take the bottom leg and cross the ankle over the thigh. So the shape just gets a little heavier, a little more stretchy. If that's too much, you can let it go. And if your knees are really far away from the floor, you might choose to stick a prop under them for more support. Final breath in the rotation. And then gently come back to center. And second side. Allow the knees to drop the opposite way. And if you'd like, head turns in the opposite direction of the knees. So we're in a very gentle supine twist. Allow the weight of the legs to be heavy. And notice the quality of your breath. If you want less sensation, you put a prop, anything. You guys can make it up. It could be a couch pillow. Anything underneath the knees. If you want more sensation, you cross the top ankle over thigh.
Bottom ankle over top thigh. There's a billion ways to do this. You could always make up your own. And a few deep breaths in the twist, feeling some space in the side body and waist. And just that feeling of easefulness, support of the earth. Allowing yourself to be present in the subtleness of the breath, the depth of the breath. And feeling again that subtle space across the side body and waist. One more full breath here. And then come on back to center. Feet flat on the mat, bring the feet a little closer together, so more like a traditional hip width apart, hip distance. Arms come down by your side. And on an inhale, let's roll the hips and spine up. So you want to stand on your shoulder blades and feet. It's not a back bend, it's a straight line. And on an exhale, we're going to roll the spine back down. So we're still coordinating our breath and movement. On an inhale, peel your spine up, one little backbone at a time. And on your exhale, peel your spine down, one little backbone at a time. 5 or 6 more like this. Once again, coordinating your breath and movement. It's articulation of the spine. Feel the sense of pulling the knees away from your head so you're weight bearing in your toes as much as your heels. So you guys, in yoga, we're looking to create space in the body, space in the breath, which in turn will create space in the mind. 3 more. Again, make it just right for you today. If you go too far, you'll compromise the breath. If it's not enough, it's really easy to check out. And final 2. Feel the weight bearing evenly on the inner edge of the feet and the outer edge of the feet. And then final 1. And this time we're going to lift and stay lifted. So again, it's not a back bend, it's just it's a plank position. So I want you to feel like you're standing on your shoulder blades, not your neck and shoulder heads. So it's not a bridge or like a yoga back bend. We're just in a plank position. Tuck your tail under, reach your knees out and feel the front thighs open. Continue to lengthen and deepen the breath here. And again, feel the standing in the feet. Feel just as much standing on the inner edge of the feet as the outer edge of the feet. Feel just as much standing on the toes as the heels. Take one more full breath here in this subtle opening of the front body, right? We start subtle, we will get bigger. And then on an exhale, roll down. Go ahead and squeeze 2 knees into your chest, round your back. Take a deep full belly breath here. And then we're going to grab our prop. So if you have a yoga strap, you'll grab it. If you don't, you're going to get creative. You can use a belt or a towel. And let's go ahead and loop the right foot and extend the left leg out on the floor. So hold your prop with 2 hands and let the elbows float above the mat. Straighten the leg as much as you can, feeling a stretch in the hamstring. That's the back of your leg. And notice the quality of your breath here. So deep, full, rhythmic breaths. I find it's harder to stay focused on the present moment in these slower shapes. I think that's why we do such vigorous movement. We will get there, I promise. But be patient with yourself. As the mind wanders, just bring it back. Don't judge, don't label. Just constantly bring yourself back. It's a practice. You guys, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And this is not the easiest time in history for the mind to be present. So again, be gentle with yourself. Pull your leg towards you as much as you can, keeping level hips. So if you pull the leg in too far, you're going to pull the whole right hip up higher than the left. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the hip long, right? So our hips are square, level side to side. And often that means I'm not going to get my leg as close to me. And we're going to move into a growing and outer hip stretch. So you're going to put both sides of your strap in your right hand. Your left hand is going to hold on to your left hip. We're going to externally rotate the right leg. So in the thigh bone that lives in the pelvis socket turns away from the middle. So my toe and my knee point out to the side. And then on my next exhale, I'm going to let my leg open away from me as far as I feel like I can without lifting that left hip off the mat. So my left hand will be very helpful for proprioception, like to feel what's happening with my left hip. And I'm going to hold for about 5 to 10 breaths here. So this is external rotation of my right hip. Ideally, I want to move my right leg without moving my pelvis. So it is a little bit of core work. Smile, soften the face and jaw, and keep pulling the root of the left thigh straight into the mat. Right, so my left waist pulls down, my left thigh bone pulls down towards my sit bone, and that's my anchor. And again, I might not take my leg as far. If I take my leg too far, I'm gonna feel I've lost the stability. I wanna keep the stability in my left waist as I open my leg, and I'll actually get more release there. How's your breath? How's your attention? One more full breath here, you guys. And then come on back to the center. And second leg. So you can go and hold your strap with 2 hands, step that left foot up, right leg down, and say good morning to your left hamstring. Bring your awareness back to your breath if it's wandered, and continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. How much can we straighten this leg this morning, and how much can we pull this leg towards us this morning without feeling like we've lifted the tailbone or hiked the left hip, right? So you want to maintain what we call a neutral pelvis, tailbone glued to the floor and hips level side to side. And it's hard to feel, so it's totally okay to touch with your hands. It's totally okay to lift your head and look, right? Learning to direct the body via the mind. And let's take 3 or 4 deep full breaths in the hamstring stretch. Feel a sense of releasing the shoulders, face and jaw with your exhales. Right, we spent 5 minutes at least, you guys, creating this beautiful quality to our breath. Are we still there? Can we come back to that? And when you're ready, put both sides of the strap in the left hand. And this time the right hand can hold on to the right hip for proprioception. We're going to do what we call externally rotate the left thigh. So it's literally the thigh bone that goes into the pelvis socket, and it swivels like an axis of a wheel. It swivels away from the middle. So my toe and knee will point out to the side because my hip turned. And on your next exhale, you're going to let that leg open out for a groin and inner thigh stretch as much as you feel like you can on this leg without letting the body roll as well. So you really want to work with the anchor side, the right side. The right lower belly works, the right femur bone, thigh bone pulls straight into the mat. And we'll take about 5 more breaths in the inner thigh stretch on your left side. Right, we're not trying to make it like the right. We're not trying to make it like it was yesterday. We're just feeling where we are today, and we're doing as much as we can today with a long, deep, smooth breath. 2 more breaths. Soften something. Stabilize the pelvis, pulling that right femur bone, right thigh bone straight down into the floor. So you guys, my right leg on the floor is very active. Final breath. And then come on back to center. Go ahead and release your prop. Squeeze 2 knees into your chest, round your back. And on an exhale, curl your head and chest up. And if it's doable and feels comfortable, you're going to rock on your spine a few times. And if that doesn't work, you can come up. However, it does work. And let's make our way onto our hands and knees into a cat position. So right into cat-cow, spread your fingers, push your hands, and on an inhale, lift your chest and tail. And exhale, round your spine. Inhale, chest pulls forward, tail lifts. And exhale, round your spine. So once again, create your movement and breath together. So allow your movement to follow the rhythm of your breath. We are looking for somewhat of a rhythm to our breath. Calm, smooth, deep, rhythmic breath. And then final one. And find just right. Find in between. Find that place where the chest is open and the belly's lifted, which is basically a plank on my hands and knees. I can stay here, you guys. This is plank, right? From head to tail, I have a straight line. If I want to modify my plank today, I can be on my knees back here. But notice I still have a straight line from my shoulders through my hips, through my knees, right? So too often, I see a little bit of this. The hips drop too low and or the tushy up too high. Straight line. Right, so it's more of a pelvic tilt or a pulling the pubic bone towards your chin. If you're ready for full plank, you step to full plank. 5 breaths. So, can we find the soft easefulness in the breath that we did thus far when we weren't working so hard? And if the answer is no, we change something. Right, we rest completely. We come back to our hands on our knees. We modify something. Right, I'm always going to give modifications. Child's pose is a fantastic rest position if anyone needs it. And if it's hard to put your head down, simply lie on your back. We're still in plank. 2 more breaths. Final breath here. A lot of us are gonna wanna, I'm gonna drop my knees with you guys on the first one. So I'm gonna start in a modified plank for chaturanga. Chaturanga is a hard pose. On my exhale, I'm gonna bend my elbows to 90 degrees. So my elbow is over my wrist. Too often we're back here. I need you guys forward. Elbow over wrist, chest open. My belly's still lifted. Take one more full breath. Soften something. And lie all the way down. Ground the top of your feet. Again, make sure your wrists are underneath your elbows. Too often I see this. Yeah, back a little farther. Inhale, lift your head and chest to cobra. And exhale, roll down. So I'm opening my front shoulders and chest. Inhale, traction your spine, pull forward. And exhale, roll down. Move with your breath. Breathing in. So the top of my feet are grounded, you guys. Move with your breath. Breathing out, we have about 5 more. Top of my feet are grounded and lower belly's active. So I don't want you to shove so much today and arch the lower back. I want you to think more of pulling your chest forward. Pull, pull, pull. Feel that you're creating space in your spine as you go into your cobra and not just shoving to get up. Right? So get rid of the agenda, like where we're going, which we think is up. And think of creating space or feeling that you're creating space in the spine. One more. Come to cobra. If you can come up and feel like you have space in the spine, you guys feel free. It's your practice. And then if and when you can, you take your arms out to the side. So I want the feet on the floor vigorously, all 10 toes pushing into the mat. And that happens because I'm anchoring with my lower belly. I don't want so much of an arch in the lower back. I want more of the arch in the middle back, again, which is because I'm stabilizing with my lower abs. How's your breath here? Do we still have a calm, deep, full, rhythmic breath? If not, change something. Rest for a moment. If you can add on, we're gonna add a shoulder stretch. So you're either gonna interlace the hands if that works for you, and if it doesn't work for you, meaning it causes compression or tension in the breath, try a strap. So use your strap. You can make more space, as much space as you need, and again, and pull the shoulders back. 5 breaths wherever you're at. If you need to come out early, you come out early. So we're working a little more in the shape. Can you feel the quality of the breath? Long, deep, smooth, rhythmic breath. And if the answer is no, you guys change something. Final breath. And release. Plant your hands. Tuck your toes. Lift your belly. And on an exhale, press up to plank. And then come back to your hands and knees. Are you guys all itching for a downward dog? So I just want you to notice what's happening. A lot of us practice yoga very, very regularly. Again, those of you that joined a little late, I'm doing a class today with less up and down for some special requests, right, for people that can't hang their head. So if you have to go to downward dog, because you're addicted to downward dog, because that's what's natural and normal in our practice, feel free. But we're not gonna do that today. And that's because I'm going no head hanging, just for today, just for this hour. But what I want you guys to notice for a moment, you're in cat, is how we're so attached, even to a pose in our yoga practice, how much that brings comfort and ease to go to this place that's very normal for us. And again, if you need to be in a downward dog, you guys take a downward dog, but I'm challenging you today to skip your downward dog. We will stretch the hamstrings, I promise. And we're just gonna come up to standing, all the way up. And we're gonna go into a wide leg position. So arms are wide, legs are wide, and ideally, if I can, I'm gonna get my feet underneath my wrists. And if I can't, it's no big deal. How's your breath? And we're gonna go right into warrior 2. So like we did earlier on the floor, right side, we want to turn the thigh bone in the hip and turn the toes and the knees completely out to the side. And then if we can, our left leg, our back leg can turn in slightly. And then we're going to try to bend our front knee over our front ankle. And we're going to gaze out over the front hand. It'll take about 5 breaths in warrior 2. Again, if you can't bend your knee this far, you don't. If you need a break at any time, you just straighten your leg. Otherwise, we're going to hold warrior 2 for 3 breaths. So you guys, again, this is external rotation in that front thigh.
So remember the work of the leg that opened with the strap. That's your front leg. Your front inner knee is wrapping to your outer knee, and your front outer hip is squeezing into the middle, right? So this front leg is in what we call external rotation. Now what happens is my whole pelvis wants to roll forward, just like it did on the floor. I want you to pull back from the left waist, back from the left femur bone, thigh bone, just like we did on the floor. So as much as you're rolling the front hip open, you're pulling in the opposite direction with the back hip and thigh. One more full breath here. And let's flow a little bit. Inhale, straighten your front leg. And exhale, bend your knee. Inhale to move. You don't have to be with me, be with yourself. And exhale to move. Link your breath and movement together. Find some easefulness, even in the efforting. Right? The breath, the quality of the breath will help us find ease, ideally. That's advanced. And then final one. And we're going to hold warrior two. Again, mindful that your front thigh is in external rotation. The inner knee wraps to the outer knee. The outer hip squeezes in. And at the same time, that's wanting to turn our pelvis forward. So can you pull the left thigh, the top of the thigh, and waist straight back? Take a final breath here. And then you're going to slide down your back leg into reverse warrior. And we're going to hold reverse warrior for a few breaths. Again, keeping the front knee bent if possible. And feeling a sense of space and stretch across the side body and the waist. One more full breath. And then we're going to lean forward. Put our forearm on our front thigh. Reach our top arm up and over our ear to Parsvottanasana, side angle stretch. So use this arm to push the knee opened, right, into the rotation, into the external rotation, that leg with the strap, that's your front leg. And at the same time, the belly and the chest is going to want to roll down. Pull the root top of the left thigh back, the top of the waist back, try to roll your belly and chest open to the ceiling. If you need a break, you guys, if you're holding your breath and stressing out, just straighten your front leg for a moment. Or longer than a moment if you need it. One more full breath. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, Parsvottanasana. So we're going to go between the two shapes via breath. Breathing in. And breathing out. Again, breathing in. And breathing out. Two more, hang in there. I know you're feeling it, I am too. One more. If you're feeling it so much you're stressing out, meaning creating tension in the breath, then change something. Back to warrior two, take a full breath here. Soften your shoulders. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Turn the toes in. So the arms can stay lifted. The arms are very active. You guys notice your breath. If you need to rest them, you rest them, right? You work as hard as you can without causing tension in the breath. Second side. So the rotation happens from the hip. Turn the thigh bone out, toe and knee. Back foot can swivel forward slightly, and we'll bend into your warrior two on the second side. So again, we're trying to feel the rotation in the front thigh. Front inner knee to outer knee. Front outer hip squeezes in. So the front thigh is externally rotating. And if we only did that action, you guys, the hips are going to want to roll forward. So at the same time as externally rotating the front thigh, we're pulling the waist, right femur bone, thigh bone, back, away from the rotation, right? So we're always in yoga, taking two body parts in the opposite direction. And that's where the space comes from, right? If I just go one way, I'm actually creating compression. Two opposite directions. And sometimes it feels like we go nowhere. That's a very good practice for us right now, isn't it? The art of going nowhere. Oh gosh, guys, how's your breath?
And let's move. Inhale, straight the front leg. And exhale, bend your knee. Breathing in to move. And breathing out to move. And 3 more. Link your movement and breath together. And you choose the range of motion, you guys. The more you bend, the more you work. 2 more. Work as hard as you can without creating extra tension in the breath and in the body. Final 1. Hold the shape. Continue to feel the front thigh in the hip socket. Roll away from the midline. Pull the right waist back. And on your next breath, we're gonna reach back and down that back leg. Feel a few breaths in reverse warrior. So you wanna feel a stretch across the rib cage and side body. If you guys need a break in the front leg, just take it. How's your breath? Where's your awareness? Final breath here. And you're gonna lean forward, forearm on thigh, and reach up and over your ear. So use your forearm, you guys, to push the knee opened. And at the same time, roll the belly and the chest away from that knee pushing open. Pull the root of the right thigh back. Reach your top arm up and over your ear and feel some space in the side body here. 2, 3 breaths. If you can go deeper, feel free. Notice the quality of your breath. Feel what you're feeling. Without labeling, without judging, without resisting. And now we flow. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, Parsvakonasana, side angle stretch. Move with your breath, you guys. You don't have to be with me. Three more. If it's too much, you modify. Straighten the front leg. 2 more. Final 1. And then we're gonna come back to warrior 2. Lift the pelvis, lengthen the tailbone to the floor, soften something. And inhale, straighten your front leg. Turn your toes forward. So I'm gonna give you a forward fold. If you can't hang your head, you guys don't. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And most of us are just fine, just drop forward, wide leg forward fold. If you're somebody that cannot hang the head here, you just keep the neck neutral, yeah? Otherwise, we are gonna hang for a moment. Release the head, release the neck. Take a few deep, full breaths here. And you guys feel just as much weight standing in your toes as your heels. Feel the outer edge of the feet grounded, the outer hips hugging in, and allow your head and neck to release. And again, if you're not hanging your head, this class is specific for not head hanging. You can stay right here. And we're all gonna come here eventually, so once you've gotten your little bit of a release, let's come onto the fingertips and flatten the back. So it's hard to get a flat back for most of us. So if you cannot get a flat back here, you're gonna have to bend your knees a little bit, or if you have props, you can use them, right? If you have yoga blocks or books or something you wanna put under your hands, feel free. Inhale, and exhale, right hand up, rotate. Inhale, hand comes down, lengthen your spine. And exhale, left hand up, rotate. So spinning the chest open, breathing in, and breathing out. Keep lengthening the spine, sliding your shoulders down your back like that cobra feeling we did earlier. Breathing in to move, and breathing out to open. 1 more each side, breath and movement. And then final 1. And release. And we're gonna come back onto our hands and our knees. And we're gonna go right into cat stabilizer. So your right arm's gonna lift. And when we lift the arm, you guys try to spin the thumb up. right? It just gives you more space in the shoulder joint, and your left leg is gonna reach back. So push your shin, top of the foot, ankle into the floor, push the palm into the floor, and feel the whole front body lift the back body. So feel your middle lift, rib cage and waist come up, like you're elevating your spine away from the mat. Take another full breath here. And on an exhale, you're gonna round your spine like cat-cow, and you're gonna try to hold onto your knee and tuck your chin. And if this is too much, you guys put the limbs down and just do cat-cow. Inhale, reach and lengthen. So it's cat-cow, adding the opposite arm and leg. And exhale, rounds. Breath and movement. Breathing in. A few more, you guys. And breathing out. I keep getting this notification on my phone. All right, back and forth a few times. And then when you're ready, we're gonna hold the cat stabilizer if you're not already there. Again, lift your middle more than you'd like, meaning rib cage and waist lift up. Reach away from the middle. Feel from the fingertips to the back toes. Stretch, pull your spine apart. One more full breath. And release. Second side, opposite arm and leg. So start by just holding the cat stabilizer. Push the palm into the floor, lift the middle. And really stretch. Stretch away from the midline. Feel the space. Feel the traction into the spine. Roll the shoulder joint so the thumb turns up. And on your next exhale, round your spine and hug your knee into your nose. Inhale to reach and lengthen. And exhale to round. So once again, you guys continue back and forth. And if it's too much, you put your limbs down and you simply do cat-cow. Link your breath and movement together. Slow, steady, full, deep breaths. Right, you can make it easier. You can rest at any point in time. Child's pose is an option. If it's uncomfortable to hang your head, you would just lie on your back with your knees into your chest. One more. Hold the cat stabilizer. Few deep, full breaths. Spin the shoulder away from the middle, lifting the thumb. Lift your middle more, ribs and belly lift. Final breath, and everything comes down. So again, feel the sense of external rotation in the arms. So when we're weight bearing, still in cat, you guys, when we're weight bearing on the arms, too often the shoulders hunch forward. Feel the upper arm bones spin away from the middle. So you're feeling a sense of width across the chest, and we're working your triceps. And you can stay in cat. You can move to modified plank. Right, if you're in modified plank, open the chest, lift the waist, or you move to full plank. And guess what? We really still are free. As much as some of us don't feel it like it right now, you can choose anything else at any time. You can change your mind at any point in time. So work as hard as you can. If you pick something and change your mind, do it. Do the best you can calmly. Take a breath. Second time. And laugh, because it's hard. Chaturanga. So it's a pose, guys. If you can't be here with the legs straight, you simply put the knees on the floor. My chest is opened. My waist is lifted. Now I can lie on the floor and do cobra, or I come to the top of my feet, and now I can inhale to an upward dog. And I will give you one downward facing dog. And you guys, again, if you can't hang your head, just come back to cat position. Sit back in a child's pose, or simply sit on your feet for a moment while we indulge in our downward facing dog. So this is going to be maybe one or two downward dogs, because again, I'm trying to create a class where we're not hanging our head. So enjoy the downward dog and notice how comforting it is for a lot of us. If it's not comforting, feel free to widen the knees, bend the knees a little bit, widen the feet, bend the knees a little bit, right? So the spine is flat, the chest is back. And again, for those of us that can't hang the head, just sit for a moment. And everybody, wherever you've chosen to be, notice the quality of your breath. And I think it's really interesting to do things differently, because really that's our whole world right now. So can we notice how attached we are to even poses in our yoga practice?
And can we challenge ourselves to maybe skip them and find another way to find comfort and ease? Right? I think right now in our home life, it's all about finding comfort and ease in chaos, in difference, in everything different than we're used to, for most of us, for me personally. Final breath wherever you're at. And then we're gonna make our way back up to standing. So if you'd like to walk your hands back towards your feet, hang for a moment and roll up, feel free. Again, if you're not hanging your head, come on up. And one more time, we're gonna come into that wide leg. Notice your breath, wrists over ankles. Lengthen and deepen your breath. We're gonna go right into warrior two on the first side. So let's turn the right leg out from the hip socket. Back foot can swivel in slightly and make your way into warrior two. Again, remember the front leg is an external rotation, so the thigh rolls away from the middle as we pull the root top of the left thigh back. And on an inhale, reverse warrior. And on an exhale, we're gonna lean our forearm back onto our thigh and make our way back into Parsvottanasana. So we're gonna be here for a while, so if you need a break, simply take it. Those of us that can go deeper into the shape, the hand can come onto the floor or a block. If you don't have a block, you simply create one. Anything will work, 3 books will work. Top arm's gonna reach up, palm spins back, and we're gonna wiggle that hand behind our tailbone. So some of us are gonna stop there, and we can still be here, you guys. So you're gonna push your tailbone in, forward. If you can wiggle your hand all the way around and grab your inner thigh, that's an option. Notice your breath, move slowly and mindfully. If you wanna wrap the whole shape, you're capable of grabbing your hands behind you. Feel free. I don't know that I like that one today. 5 breaths. So the front leg is in vigorous external rotation, and what happens when we're here, you guys, again, is the back waist, the left waist wants to roll down. Pull the left waist and root of thigh back. So you're rolling the chest open, well, the pelvis open, and then the chest follows. 2 more full breaths in your wrap or any shape. Soften something. Final breath here. And release the top arm. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, straighten the front leg. Toes turn forward. Second side. So go ahead and turn that left foot out from deep in the hip socket. Make your way into warrior two on the second side. And on an inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, lean forward, forearm on thigh. And top arm up and over your ear. So here's Parsvottanasana. Again, if you can get deeper in the shape, feel free. Right, so you can always drop this hand down onto a block or the floor. Top arm will reach up. And from the shoulder joint, you guys spin the palm back. Hand can either just rest on the tailbone and kind of push your hips forward, or if you can manage to wiggle it in and find your inner thigh, you will. If you want to wrap the whole shape, you can interlace your hands behind you. If we're here, it's really hard not to roll the chest down. So we're still trying to turn the belly and the chest open. So the root of my right thigh is still pulling back. How's your breath? Soften something. And if that's not possible, change something. Notice the quality of your breath, you guys. 3 more breaths. Final breath here. Release the arms. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, straighten your front leg, toes turn forward. Big inhale, arms reach overhead. And on an exhale, forward fold. If that doesn't work, don't hang the head. Right, so you can stay here. If you'd like a release, most of us are fine hanging our head, hang your head. Feel the weight bearing on the toes as much as the heels, and if you'd like to add a bit of a shoulder stretch like we did earlier, feel free. So you can either interlace the hands and or grab a strap and just allow your head and neck to release. Last few breaths here. And release
the arms. Walk your feet together underneath you. And gently roll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. And let's make our way back onto our back. Hug both knees into your chest. And let's go into a figure four stretch, so 2 feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Go and grab behind the left thigh, pull the shape in. And if this shape is not deep enough as far as a hip opener, we've done a lot of hip opening today, you guys feel free to do pigeon or double pigeon or anything else that works in your practice. Let the tailbone drop, the shoulders relax, and continue to lengthen and deepen your breath here. Give in to gravity, find a way to work a little less. So you guys, we've worked plenty. Last few breaths here. And then when you're ready, switching sides. Again, figure fours on your back if you are in a different hip opener. Hallelujah for honoring yourself and choosing what's best for you. Let the tailbone be heavy, the chest open. And then release. And hug both knees into your chest. And just rock from side to side a few times across the lower back. And we're going to go right into Shavasana for a few minutes, and then we're going to come up from Shavasana and go into about a 10-minute meditation. So find a comfortable rest position on the floor. So feel free to just kind of sprawl out, get yourself comfortable. If you have any pain or discomfort in the lower back, you can always choose to put something underneath your knees here. And it doesn't have to be a bolster, it can be some rolled blankets, some couch pillows. Right, that's usually really comforting for the lumbar spine. If you have any pain or discomfort in the neck, sometimes it's nice to fold a blanket, put it underneath the head, but take a moment, you guys, and really find a comfortable position for your body. And then once you've found your body restful and relaxed, take a final deep, full breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. And let go of all effort, including the breath, kind of like we started. And allow yourself to rest fully for a few minutes in Shavasana.
Keeping your eyes closed and staying relaxed. And let your next breath be a little more deep and full. And let it go. And then gently wiggle your fingers, your toes, maybe stretch a little bit. When you're ready, roll yourself onto your right side. Hug your knees into your chest. And pause for a moment. And then when you're ready, if you can keep your eyes closed, do. Just press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And we are gonna sit for about 10 minutes. So if you're not used to sitting, you can totally sit in a chair. It's totally allowed. If you need to sit on something, you got folded blankets, bolster, make yourself comfortable, right? It's hard enough to meditate without the body being comfortable. So the reason we do physical practice, like asana practice, is to kind of still the body and find a place so the body can sit comfortably so we can observe the mind. And then once you've found your seat, close your eyes if they're not. And just like we started, you guys, observe your breath. So no ujjayi, no manipulation. We're not trying to make it long, deep, smooth, anything. We're truly doing the best we can to just let it be as it is. And just watch the natural ebb and flow of your breath right now, in this moment. And maybe you notice the breath in the belly or the chest or someplace in the body as a feeling. Maybe you don't, that's okay too. Again, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. Can you feel if you're breathing in and out of your nose or your mouth or both? Maybe you can't feel it, that's totally okay too. Just notice what is. Without changing, without judging, without labeling. Notice the breath as it is and just observe, like you're watching TV. Notice any sensations in the body. And they may be subtle, they may not. And just try to see them or notice them as they come and go. Again, without labeling them as good or bad, without trying to shift or change any positioning, just notice what you're feeling. Without clinging on to things that might quote unquote feel good, without pushing away things that might quote unquote feel bad. Just let it be. Watch each sensation and each breath as it comes and goes. And finally, notice any sounds, right? Subtle sounds in the environment. And notice the mind's been taught to put a label to sounds. I hear this, I hear that, this is labeled this. This is just hear the sound without the words, without the label. And And do notice how they come and go, just like the breath comes and goes, just like the sensations come and go. They come and go. So there's external sounds and there's internal sounds, or sounds within us, right? Our heartbeat, our pulse, some of us can actually hear those. Your internal thoughts, you guys, are sounds, right? And they're happening constantly. Meditation is not stopping your thoughts. Meditation is observing your thoughts. So the same way we're observing the breath, the same way we're observing the sensations, can you observe each thought as it comes and goes without labeling them, without judging them, without picking the ones you like and creating a story, without pushing away the ones you don't like. Just notice as your thoughts come and go, just like the breath, just like the sensations, and just like the sounds. Again, a practice of observation. Meditation is a practice of observation. Without reacting, without labeling, and without judging. If you find your mind wandering, which it does, you've got lost in a whole bunch of thoughts way far away, somewhere between the past and the future, just bring it back to the breath, watching the breath. And we might just be there forever, watching the breath. Back to the breath, next breath. And we're training our mind to stay focused on the present moment. And allow your next breath, you guys, to be a little more deep and full. And then open your mouth, sigh it out. And just gently take your hands to your heart. Bow your head towards your heart. And take a moment and internally thank yourself for your effort. All the benefit of the yoga practice comes from the effort you put in. It is a practice. And just take a moment and count your blessings. Right, we truly get what we focus on, and right now our minds are so easily kind of pulled into this global fear that if you can just shift the attention for a moment, it's so healing. So what are you grateful for? Allow yourself to feel it fully. May all beings everywhere know love and peace. Namaste. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a beautiful Tuesday.